Let me start the recording button there. How's everybody doing? Oh my goodness, the question box. What's going on, Dennis? Good to see you. David, what's going on, man? Good to see you here. A lot of people here today. I'm not joking. There's 100 and total 117, which is pretty awesome. What's going on, Teddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you, man. Hope things are going well. Hope you're doing well with your campaigns. Steve, what's going on, mate? I know I don't say that right, but I'm still going to say it because I know where you're from. Oh man, happy to see everybody. I'm excited. Gosh, we have so much stuff to cover, and you guys know me. Like I'll be here for Q&A like as long as you need me. But we have some seriously cool stuff. So everybody can hear me, yeah? I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Yep. Okay, good. Everybody can hear me. Good. All right. Well, let's get started. I don't want to mess around too much, right? I said hey to everybody. If you haven't said hey, feel free to say hey in the chat box, and I will see that at some point. I always look at the chat logs after the call and go through those. So here we go. I'm going to move the chat box over, and we're just going to get started. So quick overview. Everybody, this is just general housekeeping. So the quick overview here is actually what we do, right? This process here. I always like to show this process, this wash, rinse, repeat process here of the offer selection, keyword discovery, building out your website, setting up your campaigns, and then it's all about optimizing and scaling, right? And then you just wash, rinse, repeat that. So this is your focus outside of getting clients, obviously. I always like to show that slide just because it reinforces everything comes back to that. So sometimes I notice some support questions that'll come in to me or to some of the gang, and there'll be questions that are like deviating from the training. And listen, I'll give you guys the answers that you're looking for, and I always do. But I always make sure to point out, like, hey, the training is set this way though, so that you don't run into this problem. Because if you do this the way you're wanting to, you might run into this problem. Right, so I'm not trying to tell you guys what to do, but more so guide you through the gauntlet, right? So today we're actually going to be covering some training updates. We've got a lot of new stuff coming down the pipe. I'm talking 2 software and a massive set of training coming. That's going to be awesome. Today we're also going to be covering the BOFL training, generating leads using the Medusa multi-touch. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you guys some things. You guys have already seen how I do that. But we're also going to cover sales conversations. I notice a lot of you are on the phones. I haven't dropped the sales training yet. I do have a sales training. In fact, if you guys are okay with it, I'm sharing with you today the exact slide set that I'll be covering in a sales conversations video for the BOFL training. So we'll be doing that today in the live webinar. So basically what I'm telling you is in the live coaching call, sorry, in this coaching call, you will have the sales conversations video training that I'm going to drop in another place on the BOFL page anyway. So you'll have this training, exact same training in 2 different places. This one will be a little bit different because there will be Q&A attached to the end, which is always good. So covering sales conversations, I want you guys to get out there and start closing clients. Some of you already have. Congratulations on that, by the way. Puts a big old smile on my face. And then we have a live guest you're going to want to hear from. This guy, I'm not going to give it away, but it says my audio connection's lost. Can everyone still hear me okay? Let me check the chat box here. Check in the chat box. Is the audio back? Put a 1 in the chat box if the audio is back. And there's a bunch of 1s. Awesome. All right. So GoToWebinar sometimes gets a little buggy on us, right? So I'll just start back up with the live guest. So you're going to want to hear from our live guest and his journey from pretty much from start to finish and beyond. So there really isn't a finish, but you're going to hear how this guy got started, the whole 9, what was going through his mind, fears, doubts, moments of joy, moments of triumph, stress. I mean, you guys are going to get it all, like 100% transparent, right? So pretty cool. I'm going to have that guy on a little bit later in the call, and then I'm going to give you guys insight after that of what's possible over the next 60 days. Okay, with just the training that's in this coaching call, which is pretty. I mean, if you look at it, generating leads, sales conversations, that right there. Not to mention the new stuff coming down the pipe. So let me get some of the housekeeping out of the way. Review requests. The review requests, there's a link. You can find that in the Facebook group if you use the search bar in the upper right corner of the Facebook group, the Adwords Kallzu Facebook group. Okay, there are two Kallzu groups. One is for SEO, the main Kallzu group, and then there is one for AdWords. I don't think we'll end up sticking with the name AdWords because there are tons of traffic sources we can use, paid traffic sources for phone calls. But for now, we're using call-only ads, so we call it the AdWords Kallzu group. There's a specific format on these review requests, and there's a link that you can find if you search the group. It's in the help desk in the back end office of support. We expect you to follow it, and this actually helps things move faster, which is good for you and for us because you get your answers faster, your optimization questions faster. Some of you guys have kind of picked up on that. Like, you got to submit your credentials every time, right? You've got to follow the format. So regular AdWords-based support, what I encourage you to do is just use AdWords at the beginning of your subject line. That way we know clearly it's an AdWords question. And if you're asking questions, please provide as much information as you can. This is going to prevent the whole back and forth thing, which only delays you getting the answers you need, right? That being said, William and Chris's Facebook, I always like to cover this. It's not for support questions, and that includes, it's not for offers. That includes our profiles, that includes our Facebook chats, things like that. Please don't tag us. Use support@kallzu.com. We do, I will say I'm active in the group. I do answer questions in the group, but if you ask something in the group, it should be targeted towards the group members and getting their feedback or input, not mine, right? Which is why I don't want to be tagged in the group. I want to encourage the group growth, right? That's the reason I do that. I'm not doing that to be an asshole, I promise. I'm doing it because support questions belong in support@kallzu.com. That actually carries over from Chris's deal with the SEO Kallzu side. And so I believe in that, and I believe in sticking with that. It keeps things nice and simple, gets your guys' questions answered faster than you would if you asked them in Facebook, because sometimes I miss things in Facebook, and I'll answer a question I see come in like a week later, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't see that for some reason, right? So if you ask it directly to me in support, or if you ask support directly, you will get an answer from us on that. That's why you don't use Facebook. Facebook is more for ideas. They're for questions and input from your peers, right, from your fellow Kallzu members. They're for sharing resources and tools, tips, and tricks, right, and for success stories, because we all love those, right? I love seeing screenshots of you guys or hearing about closing a client down. Like Joy closed a client for, what was that, I think it was like $1,000 up front. It's pretty awesome to see that. I know Gareth was closing some clients, Gorick was closing some clients, and on the phones. Like, you guys are blowing it up. I love it. So anything else support related, obviously support@kallzu.com. All right. Okay, last couple things on that. Again, the groups are not for asking support questions, not for tagging William and Chris, and not for expecting answers from William and Chris. You may get an answer from William or Chris, but it's not like a guaranteed thing, right? Because it's a group thing. So we're going to talk about what's coming. So training updates. We have 4 case studies that are active as of today. Actually, I take that back. We have 3 because I still haven't started the local client case study. I decided to postpone that, and I think you guys are going to understand why when you see what's coming down the pipe and what I've been working on lately. You'll understand why. So the Battle of Fort Lauderdale training is uploaded, though. That is good to go. The BOFL event recordings, the editing is actually started, and that will be released on or before, should have said on or before, but basically Jan 1 of this year, of next year rather. Goodness, I got to start talking right for you guys, burn me at the stake. And we've got more training updates. So we've got new keyword tools that I'm going to be dropping. We've got case study updates. We've got some live feeds that I need to get scheduled in. So be aware that somewhere in the groups I'll be giving you guys a little bit of advance notice, but we're going to be doing some Facebook live feeds and things like that. I've also got, like I said, the sales conversation video, a couple of supplemental videos for the BOFL training that's coming as well for the training updates. So that brings us to the exciting stuff. I know you guys have been waiting to hear about what's this new software stuff and service updates. So we have a new service. It's not gone live on the site yet, but I have tested it. Everything's good on the back end. This is the same service that was used in the Battle of Fort Lauderdale training. Put a 1 in the box if you know what I'm talking about, the voicemail drop service for Fort Lauderdale that we used. Okay, so everybody's up on that. Good. All right, so these voicemail drops come from Sid Michael, who's a good buddy of mine, and that came through Miss Jean. Actually, Miss Jean Kalinda was down there in Fort Lauderdale and suggested that we work with Sid on that, and so I said sure. Next thing you know, Sid and I set up a voicemail drop service for you guys. So this is done for you, by the way. So it's not just like voicemail drops, like I've covered a couple of different recommendations on the BOFL training. I'll be adding this service, like there will be a link in the BOFL page and probably also in Part 8, Advanced Tools, where I'll be laying the service out for you. Like you'll be able to actually buy it from the membership site, okay, just so you know. And again, it's done for you, so you don't even need a list. We'll talk a little bit about that a little bit more later. Let me move the questions box here real quick. So we also have, I know a lot of you in Barcelona have been like, when are we getting that SMS retargeting thing you keep talking about? That sounds sick. That's actually begun development. We've begun development on that. And I put yes. And I wrote some. I should have wrote summer. Actually, I think this is when my computer froze up on me the other day. I never came back and finished this bullet point. But basically, we're looking at like early to mid-summer before this thing is like Kallzu wide. And I say Kallzu wide, I mean AdWords Kallzu wide. But if you notice, there's a couple other things listed like phone call retargeting and web traffic systems. So basically, if you thought SMS retargeting was cool, phone call retargeting is the same principle, only instead of retargeting with them SMS, you retarget them with another phone call. So I'm going to explain this process again and what the software is going to do for you. And again, remember, it's not launching or being available. It's not going to be made available until probably after the next mastermind event in April or May would be the earliest. But it could be as late as like maybe June or July. It just depends on how fast or how slow the development actually goes. So let me get a drink of water and I'll tell you all about the SMS retargeting, phone call retargeting, web traffic thing, because this is actually really, this is where whatever you're doing right now in terms of phone calls, you can double, triple, or quadruple your results like out of the gate just by plugging this in. So this is going to be a huge addition to the Kallzu platform. So let me get that water real quick. Okay, all right, so basically this software is a web-based software. What it's going to do, it's going to allow you to plug in your existing Twilio campaigns from Kallzu, from the Kallzu platform, and you're going to be able to copy-paste some code onto a web page. Now, we use web pages in the call-only ads, but no one sees them the way we use them in call-only ads. This is going to be a little bit different. People are actually going to see your page. Okay, so we're going to be copy-pasting some code in a page that someone's actually going to see, and that means you can drive web traffic from any paid source or free source. You could actually use this for all your SEO campaigns too if you wanted. But basically, here's what happens. So this software, when you copy paste this code in, someone, instead of opting in, like everybody knows what an opt-in is, yeah? Like where you put in your email and your name and then you get like some kind of you get put on an email list and you get some kind of an autoresponder series, right? This is a little bit different. Instead of doing an opt-in for email, we have one for a phone number. And so people will actually get to enter in their phone number and we'll encourage them obviously on the page to do so, because they're going to get a call right away from a pest control professional or whoever the call is targeted to, right? So you drive paid traffic or SEO traffic to a web page that people are actually going to see. You've copy-pasted a code in to where they can enter in their phone number instead of an email. The phone number, once they enter that in, what happens is the system in the back office is going to call their phone number first, play a pre-recorded message, which you can upload if you want, or use the standard message that we have or will have. Once they say, yeah, I want to talk to that pest control professional, then press 1. By doing that, the system then goes and rings the phone number that you have told the system to ring. And that could be an affiliate offer for pest control. That could be a local client for pest control. You name it. Okay, so basically it works from the middle out. It works from generating the phone call from the phone number that was submitted, and then connecting that phone call to the affiliate offer or to the end person. So that's how the web traffic part of this works. That means you can drive Facebook ads to a web page. You can drive Site Scout. You can drive retargeted traffic. You can drive regular AdWords search traffic. You can drive any kind of traffic you want. Bing. If you want to drive Bing traffic, you can drive it. The point is, it gets really interesting because now you can find out where the most, because it's going to vary per offer, what traffic sources are the most profitable for pest control. Maybe it's Bing. I don't know. Bing has a lower cost, but maybe it's not as profitable because it takes way more clicks even at a lower cost to get the same amount of calls, right? Or to get paid on. I have no idea. But the good news is you'll be able to test that, try it out, and go with the winners and scale, right? So the cool thing is once someone has entered their phone number in, it's recorded in that back office, which allows us to go back and send them SMSs and retarget them until they call. Or if they miss a phone call, like the system rang them, let's say, and their phone maybe it's only 80% of U.S. adults that keep their phone within 3 feet of them. So the other 20%, their phone may be across the room or not with them, and they entered their phone number in. It's going to ring, and no one's going to answer. Well, guess what? We're going to have it set inside of this back office here in these features, where you'll be retargeted with a phone call. Okay. So that means in 30 seconds or 60 seconds or 90 seconds or hell, even every minute on the minute until they answer that phone, their phone is going to be blown up until they answer the phone, which is kind of cool because it's similar behavior as to what you would expect from a company that really wants your business. Or a web stalker, right? But they just entered their phone number in. I'm just making a joke. They just entered their phone number in, so they know they're going to get a phone call. They just didn't expect it to be that damn quick. Maybe they weren't ready. But if you set it to call in 1 minute and then maybe 3 minutes and then 5 minutes, right? Because the data is very clear about phone calls and leads when they're called. If leads are called within a certain period of time, I believe it's within the first 7 minutes, is when the magic happens. Most of the magic happens. And so if you've got literally a follow-up, a retargeting phone call system and retargeting SMS on these people until they follow up, do you think your conversions are probably going to double? All those missed calls and dropped calls, I mean, hopefully you guys are getting some light bulbs. I'm going to open the chat box up. Put a 1 in the box if you're freaking excited about that. Because it's pretty huge. It's a big deal. And that's coming middle of 2017, right? So basically, the cool thing is take what you have now. Don't wait, obviously. I want you to start right now if you haven't started. Work on what you're working on. Generate 10 grand a month. And then when this thing drops, it'll turn into 20 or 30 just by the click of a few buttons. You follow? That's the kind of model I'm talking about. So if you put your head down and work out 10 grand a month by the time we hit that next mastermind in the 1st of April, a couple months later you should be doing 20 to 30 from that. I'm not guaranteeing that, but I'm saying you're going to have a significant increase in your lead conversions and also in the value of your leads because you have way more conversions, right? All right. Someone's asking if this is a certain type of like certain person's voice drops. This is a voicemail drops from Sid. So Sid has partnered with us on doing voicemail drops and offered it. This is going to be located, a checkout form is going to be located with some details inside of the members area. It's not live right now, so just be aware of that. We're working with Sid on the voicemail drops. That's correct. Okay, so let's see what else we got. We've got a couple other things. So this is another exciting piece. We're still in the talks. Like, I wanted to announce that this is official. It's not official yet. I have to make it official. Actually, Chris and I have to make it official. We're working out the agreement now, though, where we are going to have an agency account for WordStream. Put a 1 in the box if you know what WordStream is. Let's see how many people even know what WordStream is. Okay, so everybody that put in a 1 in the box, most of you, or a good amount of you, you guys know how expensive WordStream is. WordStream, let me tell you what WordStream is before I tell you how much it costs, because cost is one thing, but if it moves mountains, then that's great. So here's the deal. WordStream is a scaling and optimization platform is the best way I can describe it. It manages your AdWord campaigns for you. So basically, once you've created the campaigns the way I show you, you could plug them into WordStream, and WordStream will show you where you need to make improvements, right? It almost eliminates the need for review requests. I'm not going to say we're going to take those away from you either. I'm just saying, like, if there's an automated way to do something and you don't have to wait on support and you can just get it done, go in there once a week and do like 20 minutes of work and have it done, I mean, shit, man, that's I'll take that every day. I'll take that every day, all day, right? All day, every day. So basically, WordStream Access. Now, here's the crazy thing about this. The WordStream Access is very expensive. If you were to go out and get it yourself, I think it's like, I don't want to misquote, but I believe it's like $1,500 a year. Does that sound right to everybody that knows about WordStream? Put a yes in the chat box if that sounds about right. It's about $1,500 a year, right? Oh, it's more. Okay, that's right. Don't they base it off of spend? I'm pretty sure it's based off of spend, right? 400 plus a month. Okay, so yeah, a few $100. Let's just say that, a few $100 a month. It's a worthy tool. It's definitely a worthy tool. So here's the deal. You guys, when we lock this deal down, it's not official yet. I'm just saying that for the record. Okay, it was supposed to be before this call, but you know, sometimes things go not the way you want. But we're going to lock this down, and when we do, everyone's going to have access to WordStream. You notice how I never said in this bullet point that it's going to cost you anything? Yeah, that's because it's free. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, WTF is right. I told you guys would have some WTF moments here. Yeah. So and again, it's not official. As soon as we lock that deal in, WordStream. I love you too. You guys are cracking me up. Oh man, I knew it would be a good one. So, man, you guys are more excited about. You know what? I'm almost depressed. You guys are more excited about WordStream Access than you are about SMS retargeting, phone call retargeting, and the web traffic system. I'll tell you this: WordStream is going to be good for automation once you're doing 5, 10, 20 grand a month, no doubt, and on up, no doubt. But the SMS retargeting, phone call retargeting, and web traffic, that software and the features that are going to be folded into in the Kallzu platform, dude, that's worth shit. I'd say at least 10 times what WordStream is. So between these three services, two software and service, I mean those are some massive updates. One of them is going to be dropping summer next year, yes. One's dropping today, the voicemail drops. Those are going to be up today. I've got that page ready to go. I'm just going to connect it after this webinar. And the WordStream access, that's going to be coming in a few weeks basically, okay? All right. So that's the software service updates. So the best part, again, It's all included in your monthly membership. Okay. The voicemail drops is not. Obviously, you've got to pay for that service, but we've worked out the deal for the done for you part. So that's going to be inside of that's going to be a members only access. Okay. So Battle of Fort Lauderdale. We're going to talk about results from BOFL. Okay. We had 5 attendees that started. We had 2 that made it all the way through, which is not the norm. One had a death in the family. We had one that had work commitments right in the middle of it all, had to literally leave and only showed up for one day of the 3, right? And we had one set up their Kallzu forwarding incorrectly, which resulted in no calls. But of those 2 that made it through, both made sales to clients. We had Marlon that locked down a client for $30 a lead, $150 deposit up front. And he actually locked down a second client I think it was like Monday or Tuesday after the event from those same calls that came in, basically from a message. And we also had Gurpal lock down 2 clients, $30 a lead, $300 deposits up front for each. Okay? And I really want to stress this point. It's because the stuff sells itself, right? This is not complicated. It's only complicated if you make it complicated. And so I asked last time, I'll ask again, do you want instant results like that? It's December 14th. Do you want results like this? Put a yes in the chat box if you want it. If you don't, put a no. If I see any no's, you know I'm going to boot you. I'm just kidding. If I see a no, we're going to get to the bottom of it. Okay, good. So everybody wants results like this. I don't blame you, right? Results like this are a big deal. I mean, when one client is worth $1,000 profit a month, that's 12 grand you just locked down with one client. Do you realize that? When you start looking at the scale of things like that, is one client a week a big deal? Hell yeah. So you might be looking at it from a whole different perspective before I said something like that, right? Pretty crazy. Okay, so in order to get results like that, you've got to get to an event. And I'm talking about Chris's events or my events, right? Chris hosts what we call mastermind events for all of Kallzu, and all you have to do is just show up. Okay, I host events for the people who earn their way. Okay, so these are not the events that I do. These are not mastermind events. These are not like just show up events. You have to actually earn these. And so there are 2 events coming up. You've got the mastermind in April of next year. And then we've got the Las Vegas version of BOFL, a name to be determined. I'll find a cool name. I don't know. We'll figure it out. The name's not near as important as the results of what can happen. We actually have the dates set for March the 1st through the 6th. Actually, the training dates will be the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I believe, or 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'm trying to remember. I think it's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Yeah, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So now you know the dates for the Las Vegas version of BOFL. Now, you probably already know from the last coaching call. If you don't, I'm going to tell you how to earn your way to Las Vegas. Okay, and this is called the December Client Blitz. We're 14 days into the December Client Blitz. Where are you at? Put in the chat box where you're at. I want to hear it. Let's have some accountability. I'm not going to call you out. You guys know I wouldn't do that to you. But tell me where you're at. 1 sold, 3 pending. 0. Haven't started. 1. First I've heard of it. Okay, no worries. Guess what? You've still got more than half the month. 1. Still working on getting through the training. 3 deals. Loving it. Closed 1. Okay, so haven't heard of it. Another haven't heard of it. Okay, cool. So there's a few that haven't heard of it. 1 sold, 2 pending. Awesome. 10 calls, 0 leads, campaign pause, tweaking keywords. Oh, that's for the campaign side, Raymond. We're talking about how many clients do you have? How many clients do you have? 1. Great. All right. All right. Okay. Good deal. So a lot of you are getting clients. That's good. Some of you haven't started yet, and that's okay because you've still got more than half the month. So let's go over the details of the Client Blitz really quickly. It's 3 days in Las Vegas doing exactly what we did in Battle of Fort Lauderdale. And it won't just be me that's there either. Okay, so all the BOFL members are going to be invited. The ones that are moving and shaking are going to be there to help out as well. They're going to be there to grow their business and work with me on a personal level, but at the same time, they're also going to be there to help you. So you're going to get help and guidance from lots of people, not just one, right? I mean, I'm only one guy, and I'm not perfect. I'll be the first to tell you that. So having multiple people there doing this is just, I can't tell you the immense value that will come from this event, even more than what happened in Fort Lauderdale. And what happened in Fort Lauderdale was pretty awesome. So the details and rules, just so you know how to qualify. It starts on the 1st of December, runs through the 31st until the ball drops. And I do mean that literally. Like, as soon as it turns 12:01, Jan 1, contest is over. Okay, so you want to have your submissions in before then. The top 5 people by number of confirmed clients get to go to Vegas. Okay. And a confirmed client, what does that mean? That means $250 deposit or $250 total that's collected between December 1st and the 31st, okay? Clients can be confirmed also with a screenshot of payment proof, and that can come from PayPal or Stripe, something like that, where we don't want Kallzu screenshots. We want actual payment proof. And also recorded calls. So all the client calls where you've closed. So if you forward your calls to a Kallzu number, obviously they'll be recorded if you turn the recording on. And you can also use a couple of apps that we've posted on the Battle of Fort Lauderdale page training, as well as inside the Facebook group for iPhone and for Android. Okay, so you should be able to, if you forward your phone calls through Kallzu or you make calls through your iPhone or Android, you should be able to record those phone calls and submit those so you can get a qualified a client that's closed that qualifies for this contest. Okay, so the top 5 that do that are invited to Las Vegas. All you got to do is show up. Okay, if you're one of the top 5, all you have to do is just show up. So cover your own room and board and flight. But first place gets room and board and flight, all taken care of by me personally. Okay, I take care of that. I don't care where you live in the world. As long as you're not on the moon or at friggin' Mars, I'll foot the bill. Okay, so if you're coming from the UK, I got you covered. If you're coming from I don't know, hell, Australia. I'm trying to think of the furthest place out from Vegas. Probably Aussie land, right? Like down under. I mean, that'd be a long flight too, but it'd be covered, right? And room and board, you're actually staying at the house with us. You're actually going to be staying at the house with us. Okay, so all 5 of you. Here's the main important point. If you stick it through to the end, like the 2 of 5 did in BOFL. Obviously, we had some crazy things happen with work and with death in the family. I mean, things happen, life happens. But I'll tell you this: if you stick this through to the end, you will walk away with deals. Okay, it's just that simple. So I also wanted to cover Marlon's case study. I actually have a video dropping on this, but I wanted to cover a bit of this. Let's take a break for a second, get some water, and let me take a look at the questions box here real quick. Okay, so someone's asking if this is a seminar, the Vegas thing. I wouldn't call it a seminar. Seminar is where you like sit in front of somebody for 8 hours and you want to like gouge your eyes out and go commit suicide by cop or something, because it's just information overload, right? It's just too much. I don't do seminars really. No one's ever really asked me to either, probably because I don't want to do them. I've made it very clear I don't want to do them, because seminars are instructional and they do have value. I'm not saying they don't have value. I just don't like the kind of value you can get like for your bang. Like, it's not the biggest bang for your buck is what I'm trying to say. I like to do instructional, yet at the same time I like to implement. And so you'll actually be working over the 3 days. Like, we will be making calls, just like what you will see in some of the event videos for BOFL are being edited right now. When you see those drop, that's what you're going to be doing, right? And you'll see that well before well before you make it out to Vegas. But you're definitely going to want to fight for it either way, because you're going to have some pretty intense stuff going on where we pull out some deals. There will not be a scoreboard. There will just be winners announced on Jan 1. If you want to ask away in the group and anybody wants to share that information in the group, I have no problems with that. In fact, I encourage it. I love hearing about your guys' success, and obviously it's going to motivate and spur others on. I noticed some of that going on with Gareth and Gorick and Joy and a few others that have posted about their clients, and I'm very happy. Very happy to see that stuff. Love to see more of it. So, yeah, no scoreboard. Just get out there and bust your ass, man. Make sure that you get there. You know what I mean? And the cool thing about that is a lot of you might be saying, well, how are you going to do that? Like, the holidays are 11 days away, right? Today's the 14th. Do you guys? I don't know if you guys realize this or not, and I can go and find this and pull it in the Facebook group. Matter of fact, I'll write it down now. Pull Xmas stats. So there's some data that's been released over the last couple of years about how productive salespeople are through the holidays. You would be amazed, I mean floored, at the results that are shown on this thing. You can literally make calls right up until Christmas Eve, and you can make calls the day of Christmas. And you can make calls the day after Christmas, like leading up to New Year's. So there, and get decent close rates too, by the way, because those people that are working, here's what you got to understand. Those people that are working, they're working for a reason. Everybody else has a holiday. They're working for a reason. So they're hungry. They need the leads, right? If they're all you got to do is find the ones that understand that value of what you have, and lock those clients down. So don't use the holidays as an excuse. Remember, a holiday is what? It's a day. It's not a hol a week. It's not a hol a month, right? It's not a hol a quarter. It's a holiday. And if you all you did was take a couple of days to observe the holidays, I don't know, depending on your beliefs, obviously, if you do Hanukkah or it's obviously more than one day, but that doesn't necessarily prevent you from making phone calls, to the best of my knowledge, either. Right? So keep that in mind. Like, outside of religious observance, for those of you who are religious, keep in mind, not everybody is taking a hol a week or a hol a month. There are a lot of people that are working their ass off. Okay? All right. So we're going to talk about Marlon's case study part 3, just to give you a snapshot of where he was before. Some of you have followed along on the case study. So the month of September, which is prior to Marlon and I working together, he spent $1,162, and he made $1,440. So that gave him a profit. 48 paid calls at $30, $1,440. That gave him a profit of the 30 days prior to working with me about $277, roughly. Okay, so a snapshot of where he is for the month of November. I know we're halfway through December now, and I'll update you guys again in January, most likely, of what happened in December. But for the month of November, Marlon spent $490. Remember how he spent $1,162 before we started working together? This time around in November, he spent $490. And he made $1,440. I shit you not, he made the exact same amount because he had 48 billable calls in Kallzu. He actually had more calls come in through AdWords, but this is what was billed. This is exactly what was billed. So he actually made a profit almost of $1,000, like it was $950 roughly. So he's plug and play with these. He's copy paste with these campaigns now, as you see in the BOFL training, and that's in a smaller area because there are much bigger cities. So he's going to actually be able to average, when he's all done dialing this campaign in, probably about $1,500 profit a month from that city, and that means other cities are probably going to be worth $2,000 to $4,000 a month, maybe even more, just from call-only ads. Remember, that's only one source of paid traffic. When we fold in that stuff from summer, his clients are going to be worth on paid traffic somewhere probably in the neighborhood of at least $2,000 up. So 2 to 5, depending on the types of traffic he ends up dialing in. So that's just a snapshot of where he was at from September to November. pretty amazing transformation. I mean, he's spending less than half, way less than half, and he's making the same amount of money and just putting way more in his pocket, which is great because we usually meet. Actually, we used to meet, I should say, haven't met in a couple of weeks because he's been on vacation, traveling around, having fun, of course. I think he's in Jamaica right now, matter of fact. Hope he's having a good time there. And so the cool thing about this is you don't have to check in on this every single day. Like, we looked at his account maybe once a week, and he would hit me with questions every now and again, right? So, I mean, it's not like we were in there every day going crazy. And again, this is from one client, okay? And here's what's cool about this. I want you to, this is where Marlon's at now, okay? He actually has 8 call-only ad clients. So he's got an SEO business. A lot of you probably already know that. He's doing very well. He's doing, I believe, 6 figures plus, like solid 6 figures just from the SEO side. But inside of the 60 days that he's been working with me, he's pulled 8 call-only ad clients, and he's collected money up front, over $3,500 for the month of November. Okay, and that's just on the initial deposits and some of the billed leads. Okay, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? 60 days, and he was already running a full-time business on the SEO side, and this is his results, right? And Marlon doesn't like to be on the phone. I know he doesn't. He tells me that all the time. Like, but he does it because he knows that this stuff sells itself. And ultimately, like I said, each client just on the call only ad is going to be worth around $1,500 to $2,000 a month. And we've got plenty of other traffic sources to roll out later on. But his top clients for all types of leads generated are in the 5 figures per month, right? So that ought to give you an idea of like how much these clients are going to be worth to him once he gets these things done, right? So to close out 2016, Marlon's actually, yeah, I say after congratulating him because I did. I was like, holy crap, man, that's awesome. I asked him what he was going to do for 2016. And he said he's going to hire new staff, which we laughed. I mean, I had a good laugh about that with him, but he was serious because, and I told him it makes sense based on his given, his scaling rates. Just it's really fast, right? So, which he loves. He loves being able to scale that fast. And his focus right now is not necessarily on the quantity of clients, but on the quality. So he's going to focus on those 8 clients and work on getting them up to at least the 2-figure client. Woo! The $2,000 a month up range for clients. Working on getting them up to the 5-figure monthly through SEO, through other lead forms that he uses, as well as call only. And then obviously when things drop next summer, he's going to be folding that in, and that'll definitely put these clients in the 5-figure range. So again, it's about quality, not quantity right now for him. So he's refining his entire process of sales to lead generation, as well as the delivery process, which is great because that's going to enable him to scale faster. And at the same time, he's training the new staff on how to do that. So after asking him what he's, how he's closing out the year, I asked him, what are you doing for 2017? And here's what he said. Everybody read that? 100 clients. That's his goal. Pretty fantastic. I love it. And again, of course, more staff because he wants to automate his entire business model. And by doing that, I mean he's going to have basically a sales department, account management for the ad spend, right? For the paid ad side, and then obviously support. Okay, he's going to have a support team as well. And so the quality of those 100 clients at $5,000 to $10,000 each, basically at the end of the year, if it takes him till December 31st, 2017, at the end of the year, he'll be pulling down anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million a month from those just 100 clients. Okay. So that's $6 to $12 million a year. That's a a solid mid 7-figure business to an 8-figure business a year. Okay, and the crazy thing about this, the great thing about this is that that's a business that can be sold, right? And when you're in the $1 million a month range on a business that can be sold, yeah. Lots of opportunity there. So not that Marlon would sell at that point. I'm sure he wouldn't. So there's more to come on that case study as it develops. Now I want to take a little bit of a break and answer some questions, talk about the sales conversation next, which is communicating the value. Let's see. What do we got here? Goodness grief. There is a lot of feedback here, which I do love. It's just going to be hard to sort here. All right. Yeah, Marlon's a one of Chris's mastermind students, and I hooked up with him in Las Vegas and also in Barcelona, and decided to make a case study. I chose him as one of the case studies for the call only ad side of what we're doing. So that's where that comes from. Let's see. Oh, someone's asking what has to be recorded, the whole sales call. Yes, the whole sales call needs to be recorded. For the December Blitz contest, I missed that question, I guess. Probably missed a few questions. If I missed them, you guys can ask them again. I don't mind. Yep, a lot of home service guys right now are more available. Absolutely. They definitely need the business. Contest is new for you also. For new clients we get in December. Doesn't matter how their leads are fulfilled, PPC, SEO. Yes, it needs to be call-only ads. You need to pull in money for call-only ad clients. Absolutely. Because I want you to be able to deliver calls, paid or call-only ad calls to your clients. That way when you get to Vegas, we're going to do more of that, not the SEO side, right? So the Las Vegas event is not about leads in general. It's more about call-only ads. Both sides. All right, let's see. If your client was locked in through email, by the way, send me a copy of the email. That's a good question. So someone's asking if I lock a client in via email, can I send that? Yeah, you can send that. I'll take that. I'll take that. A screenshot of that, and I'll black stuff out, like if we ever use it or anything like that. But yeah, something like that would be acceptable if it shows that the client is clearly saying yes, and then you've got payment proof from that person. Then yeah, I'll take that all day. Face to face, take a selfie. Take a selfie of you shaking hands with the guy, and then take a picture of his logo if you can, something like that, and then send a copy of your invoice or payment proof, and I'll accept that. Copy of a check. People still do checks. Oh my goodness. Yeah, if you do a check, copy of a check, yeah, I'll take that. It's got to be dated December 1st through the 31st of this year. And all things have to match. Let's see. I made a sales contract for the client and also PayPal screenshot. Is that acceptable? What I'm trying to do here, guys, by the way, the reason I'm such a stickler on this stuff and want to stick to the rules as much as possible is because there's something about let me ask you guys this. This will make sense when I ask it. So on the BOFL training with the call recordings, did you guys get a lot of value out of those, listening to those, saying, I can do that, right? Or I could even do that better, right? If that was you, put a 1 in the box. I want to see how valuable those calls were to you. Okay, right. Wow. Okay, so that's more valuable than I thought it was going to be. So good. You guys found a lot of value out of that. Guess what? Everything that you guys are submitting, not everything, but the choice ones, I'm going to be using that to inspire. I'm going to edit, of course, and bleep out. You guys know I'm good for that. I'm not going to give away your niche or anything like that, or any details of your client or anything like that. But I want to use that to inspire other members, because the more of that we have, the more we grow together, right? So these are inspiration pieces. Now, what's more inspiring to you? A sales contract or an actual call recording of the business being closed and payment proof image? Right? Now you know why I'm being a stickler. I'm not trying to be. It's just how it's got to be, right? And it's got to be from the 1st to the 31st, because we're doing the December client blitz, right? Not the December plus the last 5 days of November or whatever, right? We've got to keep it. We've got to keep it within the boundaries here. Okay. Okay, good. So we got questions covered for now. So we're going to jump into the sales conversation. This is actually very important. So if you want to take some notes, or if you need to go back through, this is definitely a good point you want to take a look at. I always talk about communicate the value. I actually brought it up at the Barcelona event. Someone was asking whether what you would say to someone who just was on the fence but just wouldn't pull the trigger. And I came back and answered that question with, you just got to communicate the value better, right? There's a gap there. There's something not right. There's something not connecting on the value. You've got to be able to communicate the value to yourself, like within, and to your clients. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So let's start with within, because that's where everything starts with. Belief is everything, okay? You've got to believe in what you're selling. If you don't believe in what you're selling, you're not going to be able to sell, basically. And what that does is if you don't believe in what you're selling, you're going to end up sounding either really crappy, like not confident, and like someone who doesn't know what they're doing, or you're going to come off like a cheap salesman just trying to get one over on somebody, right? And that's not good either way you go, right? You need to be genuine, right? You've got to be genuine. You need to be passionate. Now, you also have to remind yourself of the value that you've got in these calls, in these leads that you have. I don't know why that got cut off. I guess I didn't shrink the text here enough. But basically, here's the deal. How do you be genuine? How do you be passionate? You do that by reminding yourself of the value you have in the leads and your belief. Now, how do we get your belief and the value of your leads? Well, let's talk about that for a second. We build up a case logically, and then we build one up emotionally. Okay, so let me run you through this. I'm actually going to run through this exercise with you. So if I were to ask you right now in the chat box, why should I buy your leads? What's your answer? Put in the chat box why I should buy your leads. Put in the chat box why I should buy your leads. Exclusive. Okay. What else? I see a lot of people saying exclusive. What else? Why else? Sexy does not count. Targeted. Okay. Value. No. Live call. There it is. Direct. What else? Here's what I want to show you guys. This is what's funny. So in person, this goes a little bit better because I'll be able to hear you. But if I were able to hear you on the other end of this webinar or this GoToWebinar system, I probably would have heard after I asked you the first time, you probably would have said something like, because they're exclusive, right? And then I would have said, okay, what else? And you would have said, because they're live. Listen, here's the point. You guys are coming up with, some of you are coming up with the right answers, right? But you can't come up with them the way you're coming up with them. You need to know them like you know your last name. You follow? You need to know at least 5. So we're actually going to go through an exercise to develop this out, which actually helps with our belief system. So again, what would you say? Would you stutter or say, you're probably laughing your ass off because you probably even said that. You're like, oh, what do I say? What do I type in? Because they're sexy, right? Somebody said that. The reason you probably wrote that is not to be cute. You wrote that to be cute because you didn't have an answer. But here's the thing. If you're on the phone, that's me asking. I'm going to be nice to you. I'm going to help you figure that shit out. But when you're on the phone with a potential client, you think they're going to be nice about it? I'm not saying they're going to be buttheads about it, but do you think they're going to be forgiving? No. They're not going to want to do business with someone who can't explain or communicate the value of what they have, right? And that's where the gaps immediately starts widening, right? So let's get solid on that for our belief system and our sales conversation. Is that all right if we do that? Put a 1 in the chat box if you're like, shit, yeah, let's fix that. Yeah, I kind of figured. Okay, so here we go. So to communicate the value, hopefully you got a little bit of a laugh out of that. Hey, listen, no one's perfect, okay? No one's perfect. Everyone messes stuff up, right? This just happens to be the one thing that we have to get right, okay? So we're going to go through the value discovery exercise is what I'm calling this. And what I want you to do right now is list out 5 reasons, not in the chat box, but on paper, 5 reasons why your leads are the best. In other words, why I should buy them, okay? Obviously, I'm going to put out some answers here for you. I just gave you one. So you guys have come up with exclusive and they're live. What else you got? How about highly qualified? Targeted was one. Somebody said targeted. That's close, but I like to say highly qualified. I even like to say high buyer intent. That catches people's attention when you say something like that. They understand what that means. It means you got a sale on the line. Less expensive, now you're competing on price. I don't like competing on price. I like competing on value. This is how, by the way, guys, you want to know how I can charge more than what they're paying already for leads? This is how, because I communicate the value, not because I'm the cheapest price. I'm usually the more expensive option, but for a damn good reason, because I got better leads, you follow? And the reason that I have better leads is because they know I have better leads, right? How do they know I have better leads? Because I was able to effectively communicate the value. This is the bridge right here, folks, right here. Let me show you guys another one. How about a review or dispute process for the few unqualified leads that do come through? That's a big question. A lot of potential clients have that question. You going to charge me for every piece of shit that comes through, or just the good ones? Just the qualified ones? I get that question. I know a lot of people have gotten that question, right? So that's a good bullet point. People want to. Why not bring that up before they even think to bring it up? What if they never bring it up, but it's definitely on their mind? You see what I'm saying? This is why you need to know this stuff like the back of your hand. What about this? You're a specialist in this vertical, whatever your vertical is. It's the only type of leads that you generate. So if you're an HVAC, it's the only type of leads you do. You're an HVAC lead generation guy. You're not like lead generation guy to 20 different verticals, right? I don't say that I'm more expensive. I say it word for word pretty much like you see. That's exactly right. All right. Good, 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 good. So everybody got their list? I kind of gave you a cheat sheet here, I know, but wanted to make sure. Man, this is exciting. I know I can sell this. I just need to get past the training. Yep, that's the good thing. We got review requests for you to help you do that too. All right. So now, here's what I want you to do with those 5 things. I want you to memorize them until you can rattle them off by heart. And then you're going to test yourself with people asking you why they should buy your leads, like friends and family. Don't blow this off. Do this, okay? Do this and you will not regret it. I can tell you that much. It really does work when you do that a few times at least. And here's the important point. Once you've memorized it and you can rattle it off in your sleep and you can tell people why they should buy your leads, start saying it with the passion that you have for your business and helping others. Get motivated behind that. Like, start accepting the value that you have, because if you look at those bullet points from that prior screen, matter of fact, hold on. If you look at these, are these things to get excited about, especially if your competitors don't do this stuff, most of the stuff? I mean, that's exciting stuff. If you're not excited about this, you're in the wrong place. You are in the wrong place, and that's okay. I'm not going to judge you for that. I'm just going to let you know you're in the wrong place if you're not excited about this. It's just that simple. Because if you're not excited about this, why in the hell should anybody else be excited enough to buy from you, right? That's how it is. I'm not saying you need to be extremely enthusiastic about it, but be passionate. You can be passionate without being excited, if that makes sense. You don't have to be like a 4-year-old excited. You could just be passionate. Like, look, man, I've got live phone call leads. They're exclusive. These are highly qualified leads with high buyer intent. They're ready to do business, okay? We have a review and dispute process that's built into the back office of this thing. Matter of fact, are you in front of your computer? Let me show you the back office, right? This is where I would show them that. And so what happens when we have an unqualified lead? All calls are recorded. So the ones that are unqualified, you don't get billed for. No problem, right? And listen, I know this vertical. It's the only type of leads that I generate. This is all I do. You're going to get calls from 20 million other people that will sell you leads that are junk, right? HVAC leads or whatever leads is all I do, okay? And I've got them in your area. They're live. They're exclusive only to you, highly qualified, and sifting through all the BS leads. So you only pay for the good ones. Do you see how impactful and passionate that is? Was I like, oh my God, I'm so excited? No, I wasn't, right? I was just very to the point. Here it is. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, the only thing left to ask is, do you want them? Right? I mean, that's it. So let me come back here to come back to this. So again, say it with a passion. Say it with the passion that you have. Okay. Once you go through this exercise and you start incorporating this, and you may have to do this a few times. You may have to do this value discovery exercise a few times to remind yourself. Remember how I said you need to remind yourself of the value of these leads? Sometimes you'll have a bad conversation where somebody's a butthead. You're going to need to go through the value discovery exercise and be like, listen, your value is not diminished because someone else sees less value. Your value is only diminished when you decide that your value is diminished. You follow? That's why you got to go through this value discovery exercise whenever you have moments like that. Whenever you say, man, is this really what I want to be doing? Can I even sell this? Are people actually wanting to buy this? Okay. So at this point, you should be ready to have some sales conversations. So here's the process. Okay. We're going to use the intro. I use the message template that was in BOFL. You can actually hear that in some of those call recordings on the Battle Fort Lauderdale training page, right? So you just use the intro, and then I use what's called qualifying questions and positioning statements. You don't have to write any of this down. We're going to go over each of these bullets. And then list out the 5 reasons why that potential client should buy leads from you. Just point blank, list them out. And then we're going to cover closing and urgency statements, okay? We're also going to talk about taking the order over the phone, getting paid. Some of you guys are sending invoices after you've hung up the phone and expecting people to just pay. That's not the best plan, right? The idea is to get paid now so that you can set up the account. There's ways to cover that. So we're going to cover each of these in detail. Okay, so we're going to talk about developing the language a bit more for qualifying questions. So this is at the beginning after you've established in the intro and message, which you have that message template from the Battle of Fort Lauderdale training. So after we've basically said, I've got leads in your area, looking for a partner to take in your area to take on the extra calls, can you take on the leads, right? And if they say yeah, you say, okay, great. Just a couple of quick questions. How long have you been in business? Have you ever bought leads before? These are all sample questions, by the way. I want you to start looking at these questions and form your own. Some of these are pretty basic. Who from? Have you bought leads before? Who from? How was that experience? Was that good or bad, right? You want to know if that's good or bad. Can you answer these phone calls live? Like you have phone calls coming in on a daily. Is someone there to answer these like live, like right now? All right, these are great qualifying questions. And then there's obviously some vertical specific questions too. So if you're an HVAC, how much do you charge for one of your technicians to come out and do a service call, right? How much do you see of that, right? Like there's questions you can ask that are specific to a vertical. Pest control, how much do you charge for bed bugs versus termites or whatever it is, right? So you got to come up with your own questions here, but these are questions to qualify that this is a good service. You want to see how much they have their shit together, right? Have they even bought leads before? This is a good indicator. If someone's bought leads before, they're open to buying again for sure, even if they've been burned. Because after they hear the list of 5 things, 5 reasons why they should buy your leads, they're going to want to buy them. You follow? They're going to want to try them out. Okay. So those are qualifying questions, the developing language on that part. Now we're going to talk about positioning statements. So positioning statements, here's a good one I like to say. And guys, I'm recording this. The replay will be up. Please try not to bombard me on when is the replay going to be up. I usually try to get it up the same day. But worst case, it'll be up first thing tomorrow, okay? So this will all be available. You don't have to necessarily write all this down. I want you to focus more on the intonation of the things that I'm saying. So rather than copy this down, you're going to be able to copy this down to your heart's content later. What I want you to do is put the pen down for a minute and focus on the intonation of what I'm saying, because it makes a big difference. So I'm just going to read this out the first time, and then I'm going to read it again with intonation. Okay, so I have my finger on the switch of hundreds of leads in your area, but I'm not going to send them all to you. It would probably overwhelm you, and I want to grow with you long term. Okay, that's a positioning statement. Now, before I go through the tone, the tonality of this, let me explain what this statement says, positioning wise. I have my finger on the switch of hundreds of leads in your area. What does that tell the person that you just said that to? Put in the chat box what that says to someone. I have just that first statement. I have my finger on the switch of hundreds of leads in your area. What does that tell them? Authority, yeah. This guy, it says you have leads but don't really give a shit. They can get lots of leads. You're very connected. Leads can start immediately. You have the work. That you are a pro. There you go. That you're serious about the leads. Right. All these things are authority-based, aren't they? They're positioning, right? Okay, so these are good things. And by the way, I didn't say it like an asshole either. I just said, listen, I've got my finger on the switch of hundreds of leads in your area, right? But I'm not going to send them all to you. Why would I say I'm not going to send them all to you? Put in the chat box why I would say I'm not going to send all these leads to you. Scarcity. That's part of it, but that's not the main driver. They're valuable, right? I want to see if they're a good client. See, someone saying to make them want it. See, again, that's more scarcity. I want to make sure that these are legit clients. You notice how I gave you qualifying questions? Do you think those are BS, or do you think I actually qualify people out? I tell people no. There are people that I say no to. Don't think I say yes to everybody, because that only an idiot does that. Don't be an idiot. Don't say yes to everybody, because not everybody's right for these leads, right? Not everybody's right for these leads. You want the right kind of client. Okay, so that's basically what that statement is saying, right? I'm not going to send them all to you. The next statement kind of explains why, because they need to know why, right? Obviously, this statement, I'm not going to send them all to you, says several things, but we explain it with one thing, okay, which does make sense to them, because it would probably overwhelm you, right? That's probably something they've had to deal with before, getting too many leads and then getting charged for them and not coming out on the profitable end, right? So by you saying it would probably overwhelm you, that again is positioning in a way where, like, I really do have these leads. I'm not going to do this because I'm looking out for you, right? I'm watching out for you. I actually care about you. That's what that says, right? I'm just going to give you the answer on that one. It would probably overwhelm you. And then I want to grow with you long term. What does that tell them? What does that tell them? Some good stuff we're covering here too, by the way. What does that tell them? We're a team. You're in it for the long haul. I love the answers. Okay. You're committed to their success. Exactly. You want a long-term business. The relationship. They are important. Yes. Okay. You guys are getting it. Great. Okay. Now, let's go over the tonality really quick of this positioning statement. So listen, Mr. Client. I have my finger on the switch of hundreds of leads. Notice how I go, hundreds of leads in your area. But, okay, so I put the stopper on it. But I'm not going to send them all to you, because it would probably, hear that? Because it would probably overwhelm you. And I want to grow with you long term. And I want to grow with you long term. Everybody follow how I did the emphasis there? So that those statements made that way with that tonality is going to show someone that you're very serious, you have tons of leads you can send them, that you care about them, that you want to grow with them long term. Okay? That plus the list of 5 is a very deadly combination. Like for the right person, by the way. We're not talking about for everybody. Again, not everybody's going to close. You don't want everybody to close for these leads. Okay? Here's the second one. I have clients all over the place taking leads like this and making a killing off of them. Okay, now there's different ways to say this, but basically what I do this for positioning so that they know that they're not the only ones. And if they are the only one, I'm not going to say that, but as soon as I have a client or two, I'm going to say that. You follow? So that's what I would advise to you. If you don't have one yet, that's okay. Don't say this later. But say it, because it's going to be important for you to, because when you say it, I have clients all over the place taking leads like this and making a killing off of them. There's no passion there. It doesn't sound good. But when you say Mr. Jones or whoever the hell you're talking to, I've got clients all over the place. And when I say clients, I don't say clients usually. I say I've got HVAC providers, I've got whatever, all over the place taking leads like this, and they're making a killing off of them. You follow? That's the tonality. So it's was I 4-year-old excited about them? No. Could you hear the passion? Yes. The reason you can hear it is because I'm genuine about it. I'm not going to say that. Notice how I told you not to say that until you can say that, right? Full transparency here. I'm not telling you to say some shit that's not true. Okay? Say it when it is true. You know, if you've got 2 clients and they're like opposite ends of the country, that's all over the place. To me it is. It's just a different perspective of all over the place. And as you grow, you'll be able to add more to that list, and that it's a very good statement to have in your back pocket when you're able to use it. This one right here at the top is going to be your main go-to though to start with. So positioning statements. Let's see what else we got here. I know we got some other good stuff. Some more positioning statements. Here we go. So HVAC leads is all we do. You probably have dealt with lead providers that service all kinds of markets, but we only focus on HVAC. That's our whole business. Okay, kind of even heard probably some of the points where I emphasize, and I even wrote in a couple. Should have capitalized whole, but HVAC leads is all we do. You've probably dealt with lead providers that service all kinds of markets, but we only focus on HVAC. That's our whole business. That's it, right? It's a very big positioning statement. I like saying transition statements of going in from these positioning statements into the list of 5. The list of 5 benefits is what we call it. 5 benefits of why they should take your lead. So I always say when someone says, "Okay, how much does it cost?" or "What am I looking at?" I don't get all skittish and say, "Oh, it's $30 a lead," right? You can do that. And they'll start processing. What I like to do is walk them through the process of doing business with me. Okay, basically this is where you pretend they're at McDonald's and they've never ordered from McDonald's before, and they look over to you and say, "How do you order from? Like, how do I get food from here?" And you say, "Okay, look, here's how this works." You tell this cashier here what you want, right? You walk them through the process, then you give them the money, they give you the food, they give you the receipt, whatever, you get the food, whatever, and you're gone. So here's how this works is a great transition phrase. I love that one. And just say it very authoritatively. Here's how this works. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? Let me ask you. I always like to say, so if someone brings up an objection or something, I always like to say, I hear what you're saying, and let me ask you this, right? Actually picked that up off of Jordan Belfort. It's one of the things he likes to say a lot. Let me ask you this. And it's good. It works. Works very well to transition into answering his question and bringing up, again, the 5 bullet points or the concern, addressing the concern that he has using the benefits of what you're selling, right? And then I always like this one. This one's from Grant Cardone. I like this one. Let's do this. Now, it's not let's do this, it's let's do this, as in almost like let me ask you. Well, let me ask you. Well, let's do this. Let's do this, right? And you go right into the close. Let's do this. Let's do 30 leads at $10 a pop, or 10 leads at $30 a pop for a $300 deposit. What do you say? Let's start small, right? Did that sound like a huge commitment? No. Did that make you want to buy just now? Probably, because it was very, if you notice, there was like a twinge of just like a very confident, let's do this. And you're like, okay, what are we going to do? And then I give you something extremely reasonable. And it's like, how in the hell do you say no to that? If you like what I have at this point and you're qualified, like you're a business that can actually service these leads, then how do you say no to that, right? It's very difficult to say no to that. It's very natural. Not a lot of sales to that inside of the language, okay? And this is just very basic stuff, by the way, guys. Like I'm not a sales trainer. I'm just giving you what I've used and things that I've picked up along the way as well, okay? So urgency statements. This is, sometimes people ask, like, how many people do you talk to? How many people have you worked with in my area, or who else do you work with in my area? And so what I do is I always answer it with this. I say, whenever we expand into an area like Dallas, we always take on 2 to 3 partners, because number one, we have enough leads to do that. We've got remember, I've got my finger on the switch of hundreds of leads, and I can go back to that. You see how that kind of folds into there, the positioning statement? And number two, we're ultimately in search of that one business out of those 2 to 3 that's going to be able to grow with us and take all of our leads. Okay? Very, very good urgency statement. It explains exactly who you're trying to do business with in their area. It explains that you're expanding into their area. Answers all their questions. Okay? Very transparent. You're not trying to bullshit them. Okay, so closing questions. So this is one of my favorites. It's not even got a question mark in it, because we cover those in a second. But this statement, should have put a closing statement, but closing questions was the section. So I put this here because it's usually at the end. So we've already told people that we're looking to do business long term. Now, it's one thing to say that, but if you say that a few times in a few different ways in your sales conversation, this is where things get really interesting. So let me just read this out to you. So we're looking for the one business that's going to work with us for the next 30 years. And I'm talking about the kind of company that is going to be passed down or sold, but they're still going to be getting those high quality leads from us. That's the kind of business partner I'm looking for. Does that not have a huge impact, you think? See, I've told them long term already, but now I'm talking 30 years. By the way, if I say that, I mean it. I'm not going to bullshit somebody, okay? If you can't say a certain amount of years, say for the life of my company, right? Say something impactful. Say something meaningful. If you're not in this for the next 30 years, I got to wonder, like, is it because it should be because you don't have 30 years left, no jokes, or because you're not serious about this. And if you don't have 30 years left, you should be able to pass this off well before that 30 years. And you could still probably say next 30 years, because who knows, you might live for another 30 years. You never know. But if you're not serious, if it's on the other hand, if you're not serious about this, then you need to find a way to get serious or move on. I'm just trying to save you a lot of grief, a lot of trouble, a lot of headache. I don't want you to fail with something because you weren't serious about it, because you weren't passionate enough about it. So if you notice, I'm giving you guys a lot in the way of what to say and how to say it, but I'm also giving you the underlying tones of where your head needs to be, right? Because you can say this stuff and be a snake, right? You can be evil with this. I prefer you not be, though, and I prefer you to be genuine, true to serving others, and enjoy your life and enjoy your business. And if you just haven't found a way get passionate yet or connect with your business, I challenge you to do that first, because it's going to make all the difference when you go through some of these lines and make them your own, right? And again, here's the let's do this, right? So you saw that transition. I also use it at the close. So let's do this. Let's start at 10 leads for $30 each. What do you say? Let's start small. I like to say that one too. Let's start small. Let's do this. Let's start small. All right. So last thing here, I believe, is take the order over the phone, and that's getting paid. So how do we do that? Great. What's your email address? So he's just said, yeah, let's do it. I just said, let's do this, 10 leads, $30. He's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, great. What's your email address? I'm going to send over an invoice so we can get started, and then I'll hold on the line while you take care of it. And then it's just going to be 24 to 48 hours to set up your account, and we'll get those leads rolling in. Okay, I just sent the invoice. Do you see it? Like, I'm literally going to be on the phone with them until they freaking pay. Oh, well, I can't pay right now. I'm on a client job. I'm like, okay, when can we jump on the phone again to take care of this? Because I can't create your account and get leads rolling in until we take care of it. You got 5 minutes? Can we do it now, or do you need to go? Okay, you need to go. Okay, cool. What's a good time I'm going to follow it all the way through to the end, but I'm not going to send an invoice until he makes the commitment to actually pay the invoice while I'm on the phone. And what that does is it draws out the people that are serious versus the people who are going to bullshit you and waste your time. And we don't have time to waste. We're in the middle of a December client blitz. We've got clients to get and leads to serve to those clients. So we don't have time to mess around. And that goes for outside of December too, but I'm just trying to make a point. You don't want to be chasing somebody over the holidays and them having the perfect excuse of the holidays when you could be locking in the people that are serious. You follow? Okay. So that's what we do. We keep them on the phone, and I use that as the reason. The reason I use to keep them on the phone and actually get payment on the phone is because, well, I can't send you leads until we create your account. It's going to take 24 to 48 hours just to set up the account and get stuff rolling. So let's take care of it now, right? They're going to give you whatever their reasons are for not wanting to go. Oh, it's too much money. Oh, this and that. Oh, this and that. And you go back, you talk about you say, I hear what you're saying, and let me say this, and then you talk about your 5 benefits again that relate to answering the question he's got, right? So that is how we take the order over the phone. Let's talk about fear and reluctance, because we need to be able to understand and work with fear, right? So fear and reluctance. Fear comes from the unknown. Okay, this is the simplest way I know how to explain it. Just if you don't know it, then you're going to have fear. And we only fear what we don't understand or know, which is basically the unknown. That's another way to say it. We only fear what we don't understand or don't know. Okay? So the only way to eliminate fear, logically anyway, is through knowledge, right? Because when you have knowledge on something, then you know or you understand, do you not, right? So the only way to eliminate fear is through knowledge, okay? Now, there's 2 ways to the knowledge. You guys ready for this? There's personal experience, which is feel the fear and do it anyway, going through it and basically feeling like crazy stressed out and the fear and doing it anyway, right? And you gain knowledge that, oh, that wasn't so bad in the end, right? And then now you no longer fear it, and so there goes the fear. The other way is to learn from other people's experience and doing it anyway with knowing the most likely outcome, okay? So there's still a feel the fear and do it anyway, but when you do it, like, for example, cliff diving, it's one thing to just go diving off a cliff after not being able to see anybody do it before you, if you've never seen that done before or anything like that. That's kind of freaking scary. It's like, holy crap, that's a drop. But once you do it, which would be personal experience, it's like, oh, it wasn't so bad. That was actually pretty fun. Let me go try that again. Or, no, I'm good. That was good enough for one time, right? But if you really enjoyed it, you're going to be able to go back and do it again. You felt the fear. You did it anyway. But there's something to be said about watching your best friend just jump off the cliff and go, wow, I've got a lot of respect for that person, or I know that person. I've known that person my whole life or whatever, and they're that was really inspiring. That was cool to see them jump off the cliff like that. They look, and then when you hear them come up, did you have a good time? You yell down, and they're like, yeah, it was awesome. Come on in, right? That's what they're saying, right? And so you learn from their experience. You still are probably feeling the fear, but you just watched your friend do it. Like, how do you not do it? You know what I mean? So you have enough to overcome that trigger of fear and do it anyway from other people's experience. Okay, so those are the fastest ways that I know of to gain knowledge on what we don't understand or what we don't know. Okay, so also another reason why I want those call recordings and why I give you guys call recordings, because I want you guys to hear, right? I want you to hear what goes down, how it goes down, because that's a very important part of being able to learn from that other person's experience, and then feeling the fear anyway and saying, those guys made those calls, I can do this, right? And do it anyway. It's a lot easier to do that with other people's experience and your personal experience, right? So there's two ways to overcome the fear and reluctance there. And we're talking about the phone too, by the way. So fear and reluctance for the phone. So let's take a look at what you know right now. This is actually pretty important. You've got call recordings of several new people closing deals for exactly what you're selling, which is leads. And of course, we've got many more recordings on the way from you guys as well as from me personally. Those are all coming down the way. You also know that the businesses want these leads. How do you know that? Because you can listen to the recordings. People are saying, yeah, let's do it. It's important to hear that, because when you hear an actual business owner say, yeah, let's do it, it's like, shit, it works. The guy jumped off the cliff. My friend jumped off the cliff, and he didn't die. Like, he landed in the water just fine, right? It works. So when you know that, and you also know that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you know those three things, that should be more than enough to overcome your trigger of should you get on the phone or not, because other people are doing it. I know you know that. You know that the businesses want the leads, because I know you know that because you've listened to the recordings of the people doing it. And I also know that you're missing 100% of the shots that you don't take. Everybody knows that. Okay? All right, you put those three together, that's very powerful for overcoming fear and reluctance. I want to introduce you to our live guest for this afternoon. Is everybody still okay? Do we need to take a quick break before we start? Put a 1 in the chat box if you're good. Put a 2 if you need to take a bathroom break. Need a coffee. Half of you need to take a break. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to have Gurpal come on the line and chit chat with him for a couple minutes, and then we'll get started. So go ahead, go to the bathroom. You got like 30 seconds. Make it fast. Actually, I'll give you like a minute. Hey, Gurpal, you there, bud?
Yep, here.
What's going on, dude?
Much? I do.
Oh, you know me.
Yeah.
All right. So, someone's asking, by the way, how much longer is this going to go? This is going to go as long as it needs to go. I don't put time limits on the coaching calls. I do that because I want to make sure all questions get answered that can be answered, and all content is covered. So, yeah, there is no time limit. Outstanding training, appreciate that. It's one thing to have the training, right? It's another thing to have the training and do it. So I expect to see big things, especially from the person that made that comment. Really expect to see big things from that person. Can this sales process be done by Jill's office? I'm in a different country, so time zone is different. Absolutely. Absolutely, it can be done. You'll want to take notes on that and give them what you want them to say. But yeah, I mean, I gave you guys the exact slides and training that I'm going to be doing for sales conversations on the Battle Fort Lauderdale page anyway. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Gurpal, I know you're running a campaign. We're going to be working on that a little bit later today for voice drops. How many calls have
Yeah.
you had come in while the webinar is going on? I'm just curious, like just a ballpark.
Just had 15. Can't answer them, but 15.
That's great. I love
Give
it.
them a call. Yeah.
Any voicemails?
No, not yet.
Okay, so you had a few calls, 15 calls.
Yeah.
And that's just from the time we're on the someone said,
Yeah.
what the fuck, Paul? Save some for the rest of us, man. I love it. I love it.
You too.
It's great. That's great. All right. Everybody back, put a 1 in the chat box if you're back. Obviously, if you're not, that was a joke. I mean, if you're not back, you can't put like a 2. You know what I mean? Somebody's putting 2. Oh, maybe you can. I guess you can. Somebody put a 2 in. Either that or they're being smart ass. That's my kind of guy. All right. Here we go. So, Gurpal, this is we don't have any slides for you or anything like this. We're just going to talk for a little bit. I mean, I told everybody I was going to tell them, or not tell them, I was going to have you share about your journey. And hopefully you guys, everybody listening can kind of pick up, like, we didn't script any of this. I just told Gurpal's like, dude, what are you going to ask me? What are you going to ask me? I'm like, listen, man, I'm not going to coach you on what to say. I'm going to prep you on, like, that we're going to talk about your journey. Just be aware we're going to talk about how you felt at different points and what you were going through and how you made it through and where you're at and all that kind of stuff. And you don't have to have screenshots or exact numbers. You've already got screenshots out there. People know you're killing it. Like, just share your experiences, right? So starting with that, like, let's start at the beginning of your Kallzu journey anyway, right? So you're a hell of a guy. Like, I know you're well-traveled. Like, you're very intelligent on matters of the heart and the spirit. Like, you're a very in-tune individual. And so that's one of the reasons why I had you on this call, because I knew you'd be able to communicate that value very well with the members, just so they can get some insight. So tell us, like, the beginning of your Kallzu experience. How did you come into Kallzu? You know, what were you looking to gain out of it? That kind of thing.
Yeah, so when I first started, I always knew about Chris. I met him at an event in London, actually, 3-4 years ago. I knew he was a really good guy. Just hung out with him there for a bit. And he never really had his paper call business open since the Ninja days, the paper call Ninja. So when he opened up the Kallzu, I just jumped on it right away and basically I was sold on Chris. So that's why I jumped on Kallzu. I was excited and just went through the training real fast, you know, I had a lot of struggles, you know, like everyone else does, but I got it going, got my website up, got SEO side up and everything, and I just wasn't getting the results quick enough because the game does change and everything. So yeah, then this AdWords came in, and I just decided to jump on that right away because I saw the results you get real quick. So yeah, I just did it and just literally followed the process. And because I'm a very analytical person, so I always try to, like, if I see how someone's doing it, I'm like, why can't I do it? So and I try to analyze it to a point where, you know, like, it's like the whole analysis of a paralysis type of deal. And this time with AdWords, I decided to just, you know, shove myself up, that part of my brain up, and just follow the process to a T. And I'm always worried about money, you know, like what you're spending so much in it. But I just set a budget this time, and I said, this is what I'm going to spend. And that's exactly what I did. And yeah, I'm already profitable. So it was more of getting over myself and the whole analyzing everything. So there's this video I always watch, Dan Pena. He always talks about don't being above the process. So I always watch that when I'm just starting to get into the analysis side. So yeah, that's basically how I got started and where I am today. So
Thanks for that overview. That was very insightful hearing you go through all that. I got to ask you, because I know, like, you and I have worked together on some things privately for some of your questions and campaigns and stuff. Like, Can you tell like people like for the AdWords, at least for the campaign creation side, not the client side yet. We'll get to that in a little bit. Like for
Right.
the campaign creation side, did you have any big stopping points? I'm kind of setting you up for that. I already know you did, but like tell us about your stopping points. Like where did you get stuck? How did you overcome?
Um, I guess the biggest thing for me is like you see these things saying, "Hey, this is possible, so um, do it." And I did it. I got a conversion, for example, but I wasn't excited about it. So it, you could go two ways. You could say, "Oh, that's whatever. I got a conversion." It's not like 5 conversions, so I'll just, oh, it's kind of like a whatever feeling. But we talked about, you said, yeah, you got a conversion, and that's the whole point of this AdWords. It's a keyword game. So you mentioned just to go into this conversion and expand out from what you say in the training, just with merge words and everything. And that's exactly what I did over and over again, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 keywords. And then obviously it just gets compressed down because Google says they're low search volume. But then I kept doing that over and over again. And that one conversion would literally turn into more because of that step. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
Actually, it does.
yeah, that was
I
my step.
remember. So I remember more to the point on that one. I remember even before you got a conversion, like through your whole process, it was like, oh man, I'm struggling getting things set up, and then you got it set up, and then it's, oh man, I'm struggling with like every time you hit this pain point or stopping point, you mentioned your pain, like of, oh, I'm trying to get this thing set up and live, and now that it's live, it's like, oh, I'm spending money, but I'm not getting any conversions, and then it's like, oh, I only got one conversion, and then it's like, oh, I'm only at 10 conversions, I'm not profitable yet, and then it's like, oh, I've only got one profitable day. It's like, boo fucking who, man, boo fucking who? You're profitable. Are you kidding me? Like, I remember there's a time you and I were talking. I was like, dude, do you realize the numbers you just gave me? Look at your numbers, and you're like, okay, and you go. I heard the gears click into place in your head, literally with the dead silence, and you go, is am I profitable? And I go, yes. Like that
Yeah,
was so
totally.
awesome to do that, like to have that conversation with you and to see
Yeah,
your growth, like from oh my God, I'm struggling setting up this campaign and like literally feeling the struggle at each point of this entire process, right? Like that's why we
yeah,
that's why we have the review requests, folks. Like each point of this, yeah, there's going to be those stopping points. It's not a frustration. It's just a learning curve. It's just something you got to get through. And once you do, it's copy paste city. I mean, uh, Gurpal, you're pulling in money from affiliate offers. You're profitable. Um,
hmm
you're not as profitable as you'd want to be, but we actually talked about some ways that you can do that by folding in an affiliate offer, a new affiliate offer that's going to convert better, most likely, as well as uh, split testing it just to make sure, right?
right.
And then you've got the local clients that you're going after in that same vertical. So
hmm
hats off to you, man. Like that's a heck of a story. Like how far you've come in just
Yeah, right.
like literally since Barcelona. So that's like the end of September. Actually, you didn't even get started until what, like October something? I want to say.
Yeah, October, end of October.
End
That's
of
when we first launched it. Yeah.
Okay, so end of October. So, wow, it's like not even 60 days yet then. Goodness.
Oh, for the AdWords side, yeah,
Yeah.
October. Yeah,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
crazy, man. Crazy
yeah.
cool.
And it is what you like. Every step of the way, there's going to be struggles and different challenges. So that's basically what I just don't realize. You just don't realize your growth and what you accomplish. And that was one of my biggest things. Is like just celebrate the wins, the little wins, and the positives. So because then you're actually focusing on what you can win on instead of like what's lacking, I guess. So
Amen.
that's
Amen on
that's my
that one.
biggest thing.
Preach it. Preach it, man. I
Yeah.
love hearing that. I
So
love
now it's,
hearing that.
now it's for the clients. But I know like now actually just speaking with you just now, just I know like down the road it's just going to be like second nature like it is for AdWords now. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. I love it. See? Okay,
yeah.
so let's talk about the clients for a bit. So actually, let's start back at Battle of Fort Lauderdale because you were there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So um, walk us through like what you were going through, like on the AdWords setup side, like for the scaling side, and then like how you felt about that, what you thought about it, and then the phone call side, like how you felt and thought about that.
Yeah, so BOFL training was, yeah, it was great experience. Like really put me out of my comfort zone. It was more of like a boot camp, just like action boot camp. Everything happened so fast. I just kept saying that, like you gotta, like my mind was catching up with everything that was going on. So, um, the what do you call it? Duplicating the process of the campaigns was pretty simple. It's just like copy and paste. Once you have your main campaign down. So I have I only have 2,100 keywords. Then I'm doing that, and I'm already profitable just from 2,100 keywords, just because I honed in all the good quality keywords. But when all those calls started coming in, like when you do a voice drop, like I literally, my heart starts beating every time the call comes in. I've never really done this before. I've never really like cold called, and I'm not really of a fearful person, but that for some reason I never even knew I was scared of it. So I did a few of them, and I guess I kind of bombed a few calls, but I started getting used to it after a while. And it's just like anything, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. Keep doing it, keep getting all those reference experiences, and every time you get a point where he brings it up, I write it down, and I just know what to do for next time, right? So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, I mean the group is good for that. You can submit AdWords in your subject line of the support ticket, and if you've got somebody's saying in a call, ask away. Ask away. I'll answer. You guys know I'll answer that. So whatever you guys need, right? It's whatever you guys need to get the job done. Appreciate that. Okay, so heart was beating fast. Yeah, you're getting another call. I love it.
Yeah.
So your heart was beating fast. What was there any kind of a mindset shift like once you left there? Like that, did you know it was now possible, or were you still kind of doubting it, or like what was the deal?
No, I just knew that I don't have this skill set yet. So it's kind of like a baby crawling. Like you're not gonna just keep crawling. Like baby's gonna walk eventually. Otherwise, we'll all be crawling, right? So I just know that this is like another set of challenges that I have to just overcome. And the more I do it, the easier it'll get, basically.
Right, gotcha. So with that's a good point. And so with me there and the other members that were there at Battle Fort Lauderdale, what would you say to like the five people? Because I'm sure some of the people in here may even be in that top five, at least as of now, anyway. What would you say to them about what they're going to experience? I mean, in Vegas, like what would you give them as like your sage advice to do when they go there?
I just know the power of events and just being around like-minded people and people that genuinely want to help. That's what was great about Fort Lauderdale. We all just helped each other. Someone who was really good at making logos. He made a logo for me. Other people were setting up voice drops like for me, like editing and everything. We all helped each other get to where we want to go. So that's what I was talking about. It was happening so fast. Progress was happening so fast that it's kind of a boost, right? So I would just say take it all in, and I recommend it so much. Just events, it helped me so much. So it's because you're just by yourself at home. You have people that don't really want to they don't really understand what you want to do, what you are doing. So they kind of question you, and you're like, but then after when you start getting some success, then they get curious, right? So being around all these people that are like-minded really helps and boosts you up.
No, I totally get it. Yeah, I'm glad that you got that value out of it. That was exactly what the event was intended to do is to bring that out of you, all of you.
Right.
Because I know you guys still work together even after having left the event, and it's been well over a month, right?
Right.
I mean, that's actually, no, has it been? Yeah, it's been right at a month. I'm sorry. It's been right at a
It's
month.
about, yeah, a couple
Yeah.
months, yeah.
But you guys are
And
still,
we're closer now, you know. It's closer. We can ask each other for anything. We help each other out.
yeah.
It's great. I like it. Yeah.
I love talking to one of you guys and like hearing that you guys have been talking without me. You know, it's great. Like I'm like, oh man, they're figuring this shit out. That's great. Like they're helping each other out too. Like, and you
Great.
know, I don't always have to be there. You know, it's almost like
Right.
baby birds leaving the nest. You know, I'm a little sad, but I'm very happy and grateful that you guys are doing it and picking it up and helping each other out even. So that's awesome, man.
Right.
Love hearing that
Yeah.
stuff. Um,
And someone's asking if I have like deep computer background experience. I mean, I don't like not with AdWords. This was the first time I've ever done AdWords. Like since Barcelona training, I had no idea.
have you ever
I
sold
just
have you ever sold a client either
no, never.
prior? Okay.
I've sold like yeah, nothing. Just never never had to go through that process ever. So I just spent a lot of hours in it, and it gets boring. Keyword research gets boring, but I just brainwash myself saying like that's where the money's at. Once if you got your keywords down, like you're gonna get all the conversions and clients. So that's
Yep.
just the way I see it now. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, hey, man, thanks for coming on and sharing. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for
You know,
having me.
I'm sure everybody's got some serious value out of that, like in what they're fighting for here to come to Vegas, as well as like hearing bits and pieces of your journey and what that relates, how that relates to them. Like I'm sure everybody's gonna have those moments where they have those heart attack moments, right, for the stress
Right.
or the doubts of whether they can do it or not, things like that. So thank you
Right.
for sharing. I'm sure everybody's very grateful for that. In fact, I see some messages coming through. Very inspiring. Thanks. Awesome. Thanks. Another thanks. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Cool.
yeah, thank you for doing that. Let's I think we're at Q&A. Yeah, so we're at go forth and serve. I do want to say that go forth and serve. That's the mentality here, because through serving comes true happiness. When you're serving others, you're truly happy. You really are. If you love what you do and you're serving others in that way, in that capacity, you're going to be truly happy. Okay, so let's jump into some Q&A here. Let's see, what do we got? So if I missed your question from before, feel free to type it in. I'm just going to take a look and field what comes in as it comes in. If it's a bit personal, I will say this, like if it's a personal thing and you don't want it aired, obviously you can submit a support ticket, AdWords in the subject line, or if it's a review request, obviously follow the procedures for the review request submissions. All right, so we got a question. On AdWords pay-per-call, do you use broad, phrase, modified, or exact? Brett, that is in the training. Initially, we start with broad and broad match modifier. Phrase and exact is for scaling and optimization. That is in the training. Is Kallzu membership currently open for purchase? Are you talking about the actually, Matt, you know what? You're going to want to talk to support at kallzu.com and ask them that question. And please be specific as to which membership you're talking about. Are you talking about the SEO or are you talking about the AdWords? I'm not going to have the answer for you on that. I know the AdWords is available. If that's what you're asking, and you're still going to want to ask support at kallzu.com about that if you're trying to get into that. Oh crap, questions are pouring in. Let me make the questions box bigger. Hold on just a second, and let me scroll down. All right, do we qualify for December Blitz if we use an external service like Jill's office? The calls have to be recorded. If Jill can, I'm not sure if Jill's office can record calls or not, but if they can, and they get the recording of the client, actually, I take that back. They don't even close the client for you. You end up calling the client directly and closing the client using the Jill's office process. So yeah, if you record that part of the phone call where you lock the deal in and show payment proof, yeah, that's a qualified client. Absolutely. You don't need Jill's office recordings. You need the recording of you calling the client and locking down that deal. When moving from affiliate campaign to local campaign, should I duplicate all my keyword pages, or can I just tweak the pages to incorporate the new location? Let me reread that again. Should I duplicate all of my keyword pages, or can I just tweak the pages to incorporate the new location? You can tweak if you're transitioning from affiliate to local. What I like to do, like Gurpal's running an affiliate campaign, I'm going to have him duplicate and then make all new pages. So that way his affiliate stuff's still running and he's still making money from it. Like why stop making money from from one source just to transition over to a more profitable source? Why not just do the transition to where you have both working for you? And so that would be my recommendation on that. Good question. Good questions so far. Good. All right, what do we got here? Let's see. We've got AdWords is inviting me to call them to analyze my call-only campaign. I'm thinking of taking them up on it after this webinar. What's your take? Raymond, I've done those calls before with AdWords, and it depends on the person you get on the phone. It's a crapshoot. Sometimes they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, and sometimes they kind of know what they're talking about. But I've never met someone who is extremely knowledgeable. Does that mean that it's a waste of time? No. Take every opportunity you can. See what you can learn from them. They'll probably talk to you about your dimensions tab and how to start analyzing your data. But we cover all that in the training as well. So totally up to you. If you've got the time to spare, sure, knock it out. I'm not in at all yet. Where should I start? Matt, for the AdWords, yeah, submit a ticket to support@kallzu.com. They'll sort you out. Tell them you want to jump in on the AdWords training, and they'll set you up. What is Jill's Office? Someone's asking. Jill's Office is a service that Chris recommends. It's a third-party service that does basically the calls, inbound and outbound, for lead generation, as well as like handling the leads that come in and sending them off to clients. You can use Jill's Office to basically send leads to a client, see if they're interested, and when they say yes to Jill's Office, basically you would give them a call and set up the deal at that point. It'd be basically an order-taking deal. So Jill's Office does that for a very, very competitive rate per call. There should be information on Jill's Office. Gurpal, do you know where the Jill's Office information is? I never know where to look for that, because I don't use it. I know a lot of you guys do, and I do work with you guys that do use it, but where do you find that info?
It's Jill's Office. Would you just mean the website?
No. Like, isn't there some info in the Kallzu site about Jill's Office, I thought?
Oh, yeah. There's a in the Barcelona events tab, there's someone was doing a presentation on it. Steve Lloyd was doing a presentation on it.
That's right, Stephen Lloyd. Yeah, so Stephen Lloyd did a webinar presentation for Jill's Office inside the Barcelona event page. Yep, you're right. The live events and then Barcelona. Yep, you're right. Thanks. All right. Let's see. Someone's saying under the client acquisition tab, Chris introduces Jill's Office. So client acquisition tab has it as well. Thanks, Mary. Appreciate it. Any other questions? I know we covered a lot. Hopefully I didn't explode your brains. Wasn't trying to, I promise. I was just trying to make sure you guys had some good stuff that you could apply like today, because it's in the spirit of the December client blitz. I want to make sure everybody's good to go. I thought I saw somebody asking about the blitz, a couple of questions about the blitz. So if you got questions about that, ask away. Sales conversations, ask away. When do we get to Miss Jean's case study part 4? Good question. So we will do that as soon as Miss Jean gets regrouped. I haven't touched bases with her yet on that. So I have no idea what's going on with those campaigns or anything. I haven't logged in, taken a look. I've been kind of busy. Just saying, relocation to Vegas and setting up here and locking in the software. Like, I literally wrote out project overviews for entire project overviews, including user interface specs for the software that I just listed to you. The deal that with WordStream that's like taking forever and a day, like working with case studies, trying to get you guys the updated training. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to do. So I haven't looked at her case study yet, but I will be doing that. Let's see. Are you guys more focused on AdWords pay-per-call instead of SEO? When you say are you guys, I mean, are you talking about like Kallzu in general? Because as far as I know, Chris and I are of the same mindset, which is paid traffic using call-only ads, and eventually when we have that new software in, paid traffic in general for calls is going to be how you start most likely for future noobs, we'll say. SEO is what you do for the long game, right? It's the long-term plan that helps you come back into the same city and double up and take a client from $5,000 a month to $10,000 a month, or do 2 $5,000 a month clients, right? So it's not an either or, if you get my drift. Like Chris and I believe it's both. Now I don't do SEO, so I know that's kind of funny, but that doesn't mean that hiring a team is after working with Chris, hiring a team is not beyond it's not beyond me, right? To do the SEO. Will I do it personally? Hell no. I'm sorry, I just won't. But that doesn't mean that I won't get my hands dirty enough to get people in there and get it moving. I will do that. So yeah, SEO is definitely still part of the business model. It's just the paid ads, the paid calls are something to get you started more immediately. Is the Barcelona and pay-per-call training and the new pay-per-call membership, this is different than the Kallzu membership, correct? I don't know what you're seeing. Barcelona should be under live events, and you should have access to that no matter what, I believe. If you don't, the best thing I can tell you would be submit a ticket to support at kallzu.com, and ask there. They would know better about that, the membership level thing. How would you approach auto dealer owners that I already know they need the leads? John, the same way. Like I would, everything I gave you is how I would talk to a friend, to someone that I want to trust me or do business with me, friend or not, which is ask qualifying questions, list out the benefits, and get them set up, right? Let them know where I'm at. I mean, positioning statements, it still applies too, right? The positioning statements still apply. Like I've got my finger on the switch of hundreds of leads in your area. I'd say that to a friend. Absolutely. Hey man, anytime you want, buddy, I got leads right here, tons of them. I'm not going to give them to you though. I don't know if I'd necessarily say that to a friend. But I'd say I don't want to give them to you because I would overwhelm you with them. I would say that to a friend because then I care, right? All right. What happens when the HVAC guy messes up the service? Aren't the clients going to blame your website where they got the lead? Jessica, call only ads. Nobody sees the website, so it'd be really, really, really hard for them to put the blame on a website, especially if the tech is there and mess something up. Like the tech is going to have probably a uniform, a van that or truck that has the logo on it with a phone number. No, they're not coming after you. Okay, there are certain fields that are that would have legal ramifications, like the insurance industry, the mortgage industry. And so use your best judgment on those. There's others as well, like the medical industry is one as well. So there's several industries where that would be a concern. Use your best judgment on those, right? If you don't know, go find out, right? GoToWebinar is much more likely to lose recordings over 2 hours. Are you trying to get me off the call? Hey, everybody. I'm not going to call him out. There's a guy on here that wants me to stop the recording. You guys want me to stop? Put a 1 in the box if you want me to stop. Put a 2 in the box if you want me to keep going. Everybody knew where I was going with that one. And that's funny. I got like 1-1. Okay. I'll keep going because we've got a bunch of questions. Let me scroll back up here so I can answer the questions. All right. Let's see. Hold on. Let me find it. Where was I at? I was under... Oh, here we go. Are any BOFL training videos uploaded to the members area? Yes. BOFL training videos are uploaded. There's more coming as well. You'll find them under, there's a link to the BOFL training page, so it's kind of hidden. The link is under, Gurpal, help me out here. What page is that link on? It's on Part 8, isn't it? Advanced Tools.
I always just type in Battle of Fort Lauderdale, like kallzu.biz.com first dot biz.
If you're logged in,
Battle of Fort.
Yeah, if you're logged in, that'll work for sure. But if you want to navigate there, it's probably through Part 8. Should be a big-ass button that says Battle of Fort Lauderdale page, basically. And I'm pretty sure that's in Part 8. Okay. Great and most helpful instruction on HelloSell. Appreciate that. Will SMS retargeting, call retargeting be integrated with both Kallzu SEO and Kallzu AdWords, or just for Kallzu AdWords? Yeah, those will be features that you can use for anything Kallzu. Here's the deal. Chris and I are building that out as a standalone, so that way we can package it up with just the AdWords training for people that aren't interested in SEO, right? So that's for future people. But once we have the standalone, all of those features are going to be hard-coded into the Kallzu platform as well. So you'll have them there. You'll be able to use the standalone in the meantime until it's coded into and hard-coded into Kallzu platform. But yeah, you will have them there. You will be able to use them for SEO and paid call. But obviously, the web traffic side of the features that we're talking about is going to open up all kinds of different paid traffic for you, as well as your SEO leads. So that's good. Good question. Do you outsource any of your personal campaigns? When you ask if I outsource my personal campaigns, like to staff? Because no, I don't. If that's what you're asking, hopefully I answered that. Do you use the same website to show for the affiliate offers and AdWords? Do I use the same website to show for the affiliate offers and AdWords? I don't understand that question. Can you be more specific at what you mean? Google 3-Pack is now switching to paid ads only. Been in beta in San Francisco, now rolling out nationwide. In my opinion, this training is even more important than ever. So glad to be here. Thanks, William. I thought there was a question there. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize that wasn't a question. Yeah, no. Appreciate you guys. Let's see. Is this one? Let's see. After working through the niche, has anyone used a VA to work through the rest of the modules to get the platform off the ground? I know Marlon's got a VA that's working on these processes, if that's what you're asking. Let's see. Where is this new voicemail drop service going to show up? It's going to show up in Part 8. I'm going to put it under the Advanced Tools and Resources, which is where it belongs. It's fully explained. If you haven't seen anything about this, then you're going to want to go and watch the Battle of Fort Lauderdale training. It'll explain what voicemail drops are and how to use them. And this is just another service, another voicemail drop service that you'll be able to use. All right, let's see. Oh, someone's saying the 2 hours is for Google Hangouts, not for a GoToWebinar. Yay! Okay. All right, let's see. I'm just getting started. Would you put the support link in chat for me to get AdWords set up? Yeah, absolutely. Let me find the chat here. Type message. So it's just a support email, support@kallzu.com. And they'll be able to sort you out. Can everybody see that? Okay, sweet. All right, I just found the BOFL at the bottom of Part 8 in the members area. That's exactly right. So I was right, Part 8. The bottom of Part 8 should be a big-ass button. Can't miss it. I chose the biggest button they had so that so that it wouldn't be missed. Let's see. We haven't been on the past few calls. It sounds like there have been some changes at Kallzu, for example. It sounds like you've become a partner with Chris. Is that correct? Chris and I work together on AdWords. Like I'm the head of his AdWords stuff, basically. Think of it that way. Chris and I are not partners on anything to do with the SEO side. Like that's 100% Kallzu and Chris Winters, right? And the support staff. So think of the paid calls as like my domain with Chris, right? That's where I kind of come into the picture. Let's see. So, if this is off topic, feel free to tell me so. Well, we're about to find out. Wondering if you charge for missed calls with pay-per-call like Chris does. Absolutely, and that's on point. This is Q&A, so short of like ask me anything. This is not an AMA, but you know, any questions go here if you want them answered publicly, right? For the last webinar that was for leads generation, where can I find the replay? All replays, all coaching call replays for AdWords are located in Part 10. Part 10 is where they're all located, and they are all there. Let's see. Someone's saying please show on screen. Show on screen what? Vegas dates? Show on screen? I can't do that. I don't have a slide, but it's I can tell you it's March the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th should be. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Let me pull up a calendar just to make sure that I'm telling you guys the truth. Should be. Where's the calendar? Gurpal, you got a calendar on you? For some reason I can't find my calendar app on my phone.
I got one right here.
It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Is that the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of March?
Yes.
Okay, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. You heard it here. Thanks for that, Gurpal. Let's see. Do you charge the same amount for missed calls, or how do you calculate? The same amount. The same amount. I mean, the missed call is a phone number that they can call back, right? It's the same deal. Why would I not charge them for that, right? Okay, I'm not seeing anything on voicemail drops in the BOFL page in Part 8. Yeah, again, guys, I haven't made the voicemail drop page live yet. I will after this call, right? It's not something I've done yet. I will do it, though, okay? Hold your horses. Let's get through this call first, and then we'll worry about the voicemail drops. If you're running two identical campaigns, one is regular AdWords and the other is pay-per-call, do you find that the pay-per-call is cheaper per call versus per click? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Sometimes you'll find that the click, in a lot of cases, you'll find the click costs more. But sometimes, depending on the market and the keywords that you use, especially the keywords that you use, you might find that it takes more of a certain keyword to show to get a call generated, which is why we run tons of keywords, because we want to find the ones that do get the lower cost per call, and then we optimize on them so that they get an even lower cost per call. That's the name of the game, right? All right, show the section of membership site when you discuss it. We need visuals. The section of the membership site for what? For BOFL? I guess you're talking about BOFL. I can do that. One second. Let me. You guys just want to see my computer screen. Just teasing. Let me come out of here. Dashboard. I got to visit the site. I'm logged in though. That's good. Guess I knew that. Okay, so let me come here. Pay-per-call AdWords. I'm going to click on that. So it's like I just logged in, right? And once I'm here, I'm going to go into, where's that private coaching tab? I got to move the questions box out. So part 10, that's the coaching calls. Part 8, that's where we're going to go to find the BOFL training. So here we are. I'm going to scroll all the way down. All the way down. Hey, look at that. What does that say? Battle of Fort Lauderdale training, scaling and closing multiple local clients. Big ass logo, big ass button. And when you click on the button, Takes you to the Battle of Fort Lauderdale page. Voila. Right? Battle of Fort Lauderdale page. The recording apps that you can download for Android and iPhone. I mean, call recordings, the additional support, all that good stuff. Like everything's there, right? And more is going to be added there too as well. So that's the visual. Oh yeah, here you go. Forgot about this slide. I guess I did have another slide. My bad. So if you want in, some of you were wanting to know how to get in on AdWords. You just send in a support ticket, support at Kallzu. Put in the subject line AdWords I want in. That'll let people know, like, hey, they'll send you the details on how to get in if you're not in, right? So there's that. Let me pull the questions box back out. Okay. Can a VA work out your niche data research? Yes, but you want to do it yourself a few times, get very solid on it before you start training someone how to do that or expect them to just do it on their own, right? Obviously, you've got to master that yourself so that you can help others do well with it as well, right? Can a VA, oh, that was the same question. Goodness. Do you help or coach clients close leads that come in? Phone answering, coaching, text message sequences for non-closed clients. My thinking is if they don't profit, they won't keep buying calls. Do I coach clients? So like, are you asking like if I have a client, do I actually go through how to work those leads better? Absolutely I do. That's something that the other lead providers never do. I mean, hardly ever. They'll be like, yeah, we got some rinky-dink PDF, go read that. Or we got a webinar every once in a while, come to that. Versus that one-on-one attention, which you spend 5 to 10 minutes going over a couple of things. Hell, even some of the stuff we covered here today, it's going to make a big difference in their business because they're going to be able to close more leads or get more bids on jobs and whatnot, right? Absolutely. Thanks, William. Excellent timing for the development, the language training, and it's quality training, bud. Got to go. Thanks. Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for coming out. Sorry about being pressing and persistent on voicemail drops. It's the one thing I know nothing about. It's okay. It's okay. Like I said, it's in the training, the BOFL training. I showed you where that's at. And also you can count on me to drop the voicemail drop service, right? It'll be there for sure. Let's see. How many clients do you usually go through before you find the great ones that will stay with you for the long haul? That's an excellent question. So this is different for everybody. It depends on the vertical, your offer, what you're selling the leads at. But just to give you, like, I mean, obviously, I can't give you an exact answer, but I can tell you from my experience at least, like, and a couple other people that I've worked with. So it ranges anywhere from, my personal experience can be like 1 in 8, 1 in 10. That's about where it's at. All the way up to like 1 in 20. Now the cool thing is that if you're getting money up front and invoices up front, and you go and you get 2 to 3 clients per city, it's not going to take you but a few times, a few go-arounds to find the right people to be those 5-figure a month clients, right? And you know what? Just because they're not a 5-figure a month client doesn't mean I'm going to throw them in the trash either. Like if they're a 4-figure a month, a solid 4-figure a month client, I'm going to keep them, right? Especially if I told them I want to grow with them. But I'm also going to encourage that growth, right? So someone was asking earlier, do you coach people on how to deal with the leads better? Absolutely. That's part of growing together, isn't it? Absolutely. Also, do I encourage them to, now that they're getting more leads and they're super slammed and they can't take any more, do I encourage them to go and get it, like, or at least advise them to go and like expand their business because you've got plenty more leads to give them? If that's the case, then yeah, I do. I tell them, listen, they're going to have to go somewhere. I mean, if you're not able to take them and grow with me, they're going to have to go somewhere. Like they need to know that, and then they're going to go, oh shit, well I don't want that. Let me go make this thing happen, right? Good question though. Very good question. Do you have any guidelines as to who makes a good client, already buying leads, a certain number of employees, or gross sales per year? What is the profile of a good client? That, again, is different for everybody that, every vertical that you're in and what you're looking for out of your business model. I do money up front, I do small deposits, and I grow with my clients. Naturally, some of them are going to drop off, and some of them are going to stick and stay long term and grow with me. A profile of a good client usually, this is not an end-all be-all rule, usually are people that have bought leads before. Whether they had good success or not does not matter as much as if they've just been open to buying leads before. The second best would be someone who has considered buying leads before, which is pretty much everybody who in the world that owns a business that hasn't bought leads already, right? That covers like 90+% of people in business, people that have bought leads or have thought about buying them, right? That's like 90% easy. The other 10% is probably too new or too green, and might not necessarily be a good client that can service the leads well enough, right? That would be a concern of mine, which brings me to my next point of a good client profile, one that's been around a while, that can actually service the clients well. When someone gets on the phone and I can hear in their voice like, hey, listen, I take care of my clients, when they say that kind of stuff to me after asking qualifying questions, I know I'm on the right track. I know I've got somebody that's worth their salt, right? So a good client profile, that ought to give you a good idea on what you're looking at. What can I put in the subject line so you'll get it for specific one-on-one help? Here's the thing, like, I don't do one-on-one help. I do answer support tickets. I'm training up our support staff to do to answer the questions as well. And so you guys don't even know it yet. You guys have actually already been getting a lot of answers from the support staff and not from me. I've been there looking at some of the tickets and seen the answers go out before they go out, and made sure that the quality is there, obviously. Some of them I have answered personally, and so it's going to be a crapshoot whether you get me or someone else. I mean, we did not say that this was going to be one-on-one help, right? We gave you specific review request points, as well as I'll answer any questions or make sure that all your questions are answered from myself or from support. We don't do the one-on-one support. Like, I'm sure in the future, like, Chris and I will do some kind of something to well, hell, I'm already doing it. I mean, we did it in Fort Lauderdale. We did it we're doing it in Vegas. Chris does that kind of stuff like in Barcelona, and he's going to be doing it in April. So there is that ability to get that kind of help for sure. Just not not that way, if that makes sense. It's going to take away from the value that I can provide everybody. I mean, if I start doing stuff like that, then the opportunities like the software that I mentioned, which is amazing, and the word stream access, like all that shit would be impossible. It just wouldn't happen, and then where would we all be, right? So, like, for the greater good of everybody, to move forward, that's kind of where we have to draw the line on that. Let's see. Had to step away while you explain the voicemail drop. Does support know what that is? I'm not sure if they're fully trained up on voicemail drops. That's more of a Battle of Fort Lauderdale stuff. Subject, you want to go to the Battle of Fort Lauderdale page. Voicemail drops is fully explained in there, man. It's all in the training. Do you have to keep making new niches, or can't you have just two? Shoot, man, you can go with just one. A lot of people I've been working with for case studies and whatnot just have one vertical. Gurpal, one vertical. Marlon, one vertical, right? That's it. Let's see. Have you ever put 500 keywords in the AdWords estimator for calls and received an estimate of 0 calls per day? I don't know if I've put that many in, but I know I've put in some keywords before, a good amount of keywords before, and gotten like very low numbers before. Use the forecaster. I like the forecaster, not the AdWords estimator. Forecaster is going to give you a better idea, and that's found inside of the keyword planner. And there is a training video on that, by the way. It was one of the training updates that I did a little while back. Is affiliate call training going to resume anytime? I really enjoyed the pest control series. Yes, that's going to resume. We ran into an issue with the pest control offer. We're going to be starting that back up. It's also the slow season for pest control anyway, so I'll be doing an update just to kind of explain that and tell what happened, and then we'll be starting it back up. Absolutely, that will be happening. Clients are great, but scaling with affiliate looks to be quicker once you get it figured out, i.e. the networks already have the lead buyers in place. Yeah, it's quicker money. It's just a lot less money. A lot less money. Okay, great. I got to the bottom of the questions box. Can you guys believe it? That's a lot of questions. I love it though, because oh, here's another one. I'm just kidding. Let's see. If you have two amazing domain names but can't decide which one is best, do I suggest split testing the two domains by setting up two campaigns? I guess you could do that. I would just pick one, man. I think you're getting into, like, should I tie my left shoe first or my right shoe first? You know, fuck it, tie them both. Just figure out which one you want to tie first and just go with that. You know, if you want to split test the domains, absolutely you can do that. I don't think it would necessarily be your best time spent, if that makes sense. If anything, here's an idea: make one of them your AdWords stuff, and make one of them your SEO. There you go. Left shoe, right shoe, and tie those bitches up and get moving. That's a good analogy. I like that. Left shoe tie, right shoe tie, and then once they're tied up, get moving. Right? I like it. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. I'll be using that in the future. And good question, by the way. It was hard for me to read that, but good question. Can you review SERPed for us? It integrates Majestic, Moz, and a bunch of other tools for $79 per month. Rafal, I have no idea what SERPed is, man. Like, I know what Moz and Majestic are. I mean, I'm not an SEO guy, right? So I don't know if a review from me would make much sense. I'd probably be like, man, this shit sucks. I don't like SEO. That probably would be my review. But I say that after having said that I believe in SEO. I do, but only because Chris is like totally taking it over, right? So I say that in the spirit of, yes, I'll be doing SEO, but not personally. I will definitely be hiring that out. That's not going to be something I'm probably not going to start that anytime soon, because there's plenty of opportunity here for me on the paid ad side of things, and plus you guys want to keep me focused on the paid ad side of things because of all that cool software that's coming out and things like word stream access that I can always keep my ear to the ground for. That's the benefit, by the way, guys, of having Chris on the SEO side and that awesome support staff, as well as like the AdWords side and the paid ads side of this whole thing, right? Can you recommend any good books to read? RE, mindset, business building, etc. Absolutely. Are you kidding? That's a good question. Appreciate that. I would recommend one of the best mindset books I've ever found is found it back in 2009. It's by a man named Steve Siebold, Siebold, Steve Siebold. If you know him, then you know that he's the man. He's got a book out there. It's a little on the pricey side, hardcover. I don't even think there's that many copies of it out there, but it's an excellent book. I haven't picked it up in a while. I need to do it. It's one of those books that you can read like one piece a day of. Very, very good. It's called 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class. Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull this book down, and I'm just going to he basically worked with for 30 years, like he was a tennis pro, I believe, or a tennis coach or something like that, and he interviewed for 30 solid years like all the world-class people he could find and interview billionaires and celebrities that had made it big and everything like that. And he comes up with like these crazy cool 177 like secrets of how the world class think versus everybody else. And then he gives you like action steps. That's what I love about it. Like, now you guys know why I love this book so much. Like I said, it's probably on the pricey side. You can probably find it on Amazon. That would be one of the main books I would recommend for mindset anyway. Very, very powerful book. I also like, for marketing anyway, I like Influence. I like anything Cialdini's done, anything Robert Greene has done, like 48 Laws of Power. He's got a few others too. I can't remember the names of them just off the top of my head, but there's some really, really good stuff in those books. But yeah, that's a good question. Thanks for asking it. I used to have a reading list that I put together. I got to go find it, see if I can find it. We still have to get those tools for research for AdWords. Not sure what you're asking. Cash flow quadrant. Yep. Robert Kiyosaki. I'm familiar with the cash flow quadrant. I haven't read the book. I'm familiar with the quadrant and know how it works. That was enough for me. Let's see. Do you have any training on espionage? Yes. It's not out yet, but it's coming. It's coming. Someone says that book is $16.44 on Amazon. That's great. That's great. Yep, Mastery by Robert Greene. That was the other one. Thank you very much, Larry. Appreciate that. Steve Siebold, Steve's title, that was 177 Mental Toughness Secrets. So 177 Mental Toughness, should probably pull it up inside of Amazon or Google, maybe even Google. Siebold's book is 11 to 18 on Amazon. That's great. I think I paid like $60 for my copy. It was in short supply when I bought it. I've had it forever though. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. On YouTube, Steve Siebold's Top 10 Rules for Success. Hey, this is one of the guys, so like anybody who's watched The Secret, he was one of the panelists for like before, in between the sequel, like they had a sequel to The Secret, right? But in between they had like this live thing where you could actually, I went to a movie theater and they had guys like Les Brown, who was an amazing individual. Holy shit, I love that guy so much. So grateful for him. And Steve Siebold was on that panel, and I actually got to meet Steve briefly in 2009. But yeah, man, those guys, and that panel was like, I want to say it was like 2 hours, and they broadcasted inside of an actual movie theater. So I went to an actual movie theater, sat down in a movie theater seat, and watched this live panel of like 8 or 9 or 10 people. Like Bob Proctor was in it, obviously, and a few others. Like I said, Les Brown and Steve Siebold, like just amazing stuff. It was great. Let's see. Sid Michael listens to Les Brown. Yeah, he should, because Les Brown is awesome. Maybe John Assaraf. I'm not sure if John Assaraf was there, but he's definitely a very influential guy, very positive guy. I like his stuff too. Yep, he's very big on affirmations, very big on that. Yeah, so I don't know how we drifted into that. I guess because of my book recommendation or whatever. Now Steve's going to see it's like, damn, where did all these book sales come from? I'm just kidding. Oh man, hey, it was a great class. Appreciate y'all. Hope you guys have a great set of holidays. Our next class is going to be on December 28th, same time, right? 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. That's 8 p.m. London time, and that's December 15th at 7 a.m. Sydney time. That's right, or not December 15th, excuse me, December 29th, 7 a.m. There we go. So that'll be our last call of 2016, and it's going to be a good one. Got a lot of good stuff lined up for that as well, and then obviously we'll be closing out the contest on the 1st for the December Blitz and Las Vegas trip. So keep pushing. Keep making things happen. Gurpal, thank you so much. Appreciate you, brother, coming on and sharing everything to everybody about your journey. It was very revealing, and I'm sure a lot of people are very inspired by that. I noticed a lot of comments about that, so thank you for that. Thank you, everyone. Have a great holiday season, and I will see you on the next coaching call.